What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Kyler Speaks, episode number 17. Today, we'll be talking about something that's impacting the fucking world like you'd never believe. It's impacting men, right? Everyday men. And that little thing is, men aren't dating anymore. They're just not dating. They've said, I've quit. They've given up on the game because it's too difficult for them. They're not finding partners. So, in light of Valentine's Day, I thought we would talk about this. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go extremely deep, ladies and gentlemen. Why the fuck aren't men able to find partners to marry and bear offspring with? What is happening? That and so much more, right here, right now, only on Kyler Speaks. Boom. Before we get into this episode, I would just like to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for all the love and support that this channel has received. We are pretty new, but we're growing immensely, so rapidly, and I'm extremely grateful. So, once again, thank you guys very much for making this possible. And now, let's get on to the episode. Episode number 16 is going to be on the topic of something that I find terrible. It's terrible. I don't know a better phrase. And that, my friends, is this dating pool. This dating pool with men and women not reproducing, not getting together. They're not having children, and men are being left behind. Men are absolutely being left behind. It's sad. You know, I'm wearing pink today because Valentine's Day was yesterday, and I never wear pink, but I have a brand new pink shirt that was really expensive, so I was like, yeah, I'll wear pink. This will give me my opportunity to wear pink. And I do that as a tribute to all the men out there that are single, that don't see hope. They don't have any expectation of finding a wife and having children. They've simply dropped out. They've dropped out, and I don't know how to fix that because it's something that, unless we get rid of technology, unless we get rid of this disillusionment towards what a man should be economically, like financially, unless we step back down into reality, that's just simply not going to change. So, a couple key factors that I have noticed. And like I said, I'm one of the fortunate ones that I'm thriving in this economy, but not everyone is. And I have been in a relationship now for about a year. So, we're perfectly happy together. I couldn't see my life without this person. You know, it's someone that holds you down, truthfully, holds you down, and just makes you a better you. And it gives you goals, and it gives you just another reason to wake up in the morning and perform. And without that, I don't think I would be quite the man I am today. I've really matured in the last year, and I've really honed in on not just my finances, but just becoming a better person in general. And I don't see the majority of, at least in the United States, men following that trend. Instead, it's on a very it's just on such a decline. I am really at a loss of words for it. And I think the main reason is that men are just dropping out. And it's not due to men. Trust me. Men want to have a family. Men want to raise kids. It's not the men that are doing it. It's the women. The women decide everything. They decide everything in life. They decide what men should wear. They decide how men should act. They decide what jobs are most relevant. And that's because they hold so much power, more power than you even expect. Now, we can't tell them that because we don't want them to get too full of themselves. But the little known secret is that women actually control everything. I mean, you dress nice because you want women to notice, right? You get a you get a Ferrari or a Porsche because you want to be taken seriously by women. You want yeah, that's what you want. You want nice things. And a lot of men are dropping out and they don't give a fuck. They're just saying this game is rigged. You guys don't value me and I don't want to participate anymore. And why? Why is that? Well, I think the main reason is probably social media. In fact, I know it is. It's social media. The dating pool has now expanded to such a degree that most men, most hardworking blue collar or even some white collar men that aren't at the very top of the social hierarchy, economic hierarchy, but still they're making a decent living and they're doing okay. They're not where they want to be, or maybe they are, but they're not the top of this peer. They're not the top, but they're still doing okay. These are the exact men that are dropping out. And those are just the men that are trying. Imagine the men that aren't trying. There used to be a saying that there is someone for everyone. And that only applied before the internet. Because now, especially social media, now women from bumfuck nowhere can automatically go on a dating app, and women have all this power, right? They can go on a dating app and siphon between thousands of potential advances from men. And they get to pick and choose from the very top in such a broad dating pool spectrum that they're automatically just throwing to the wayside all of these men that may be incredible people. They may have the potential to be incredible husbands and terrific dads and real really good people. They're just really good people. And no one will give them the time of the day because maybe they don't look super attractive, or maybe they don't make enough money to be able to go to Turks and Caicos or Dubai. They can't take a trip to Paris. Uh, their honeymoon probably won't consist of going to Mexico. You know, that's probably not what you sign up for when you talk to, date, or marry one of these men. But you know what? They're going to treat you right. They're going to take good care of you to the best of their ability. They're going to be there for you. If you need your tire changed at 3 a.m., these are the men that are going to do it. And it's extremely sad to see them dropping out because they say, "Hey guys, I'm trying here and no one's appreciating me." And I think appreciation goes a long way. It always has. We've always had the haves and the have-nots. The doctor in the 1950s made more than the milkman, but the milkman was appreciated. People appreciated him, and they called him by his first name, and they said hello to him, and they asked him how his family was, and people took care of others, even if it's only emotionally. Everyone felt like they had a place. They recognized him for having an important job that really impacted their lives. And now those same jobs are just spit on and shit on, absolutely shit on. People look down upon those jobs because they don't hold as much economic value within our society. And sure, yeah, but somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. And we should be grateful and thankful to those people that dedicate their lives doing something that they probably don't want to do for a salary that is dismal at best. They're not super happy with it, but maybe they can do better. Maybe they can't do better at all. Maybe they have a learning disability. Maybe something's wrong with them. Maybe they weren't very well educated. Maybe they grew up to alcoholic parents. Whatever it may be for them, it sucks that our society just kicks them off and says you're not important. You don't mean shit to me. And women are kind of the catalyst for this because women want a support structure. They want abundance, and that makes sense, right? because when bearing offspring, they want to make sure that their children are taken care of and that they're taken care of and that they're well taken care of. More is always better, right? More is always better. There's a few things, maybe taxes, but for the most part, the more abundance you have of something, the more resources you have, the better your life will be. That's just a proven fact. And I think the other problem is that thanks to the internet, thanks to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube, let alone eHarmony, Tinder, Grinder, whatever it is that you're into. For some of you, it might be Grinder. I'm the one with the pink shirt on, so I can't say shit. But these things have been taken away from. It's just based on looks now and status. There is no personality aspect to this at all. It used to be that two people would meet, maybe through a mutual friend, maybe at work, and there was sometimes stories of, I just didn't really like this person at first, but he was super persistent, and after a while, I gave in and I said, sure, you could take me out. And then we hit it off, and he was funny and he was kind, and I liked the way that he, took care of his mother, and he opened the door for me. He paid for my meal. People would ease into that, and it wasn't always my Prince Charming right off the bat, right from the get, from the first time that a woman laid eyes upon a man. And now that is totally, totally flipped. And that no longer exists. There is no growing. There is no, well, I got to know him and then. There is no and then. I am not even going to give you the opportunity because unfortunately, women hold the key to relationships. They can say yes or they can say no. And women want one thing, and it's resource, security, power. They want a man that is high of status and not just because of the money. Yeah, the money's great, but money's relative. They want a man with influence. They want someone that everyone else deems superior, and not in a kingly way, but more so in a competence way. Women are desperately, desperately searching for men who are competent because competence breeds every other aspect. It breeds uh, resources, it breeds economics, it breeds status, it breeds security, it breeds health. It's the main factor, the G factor, if you will. Intelligence is everything, but intelligence here, I hate to say it. I mean, ask anyone that studies the brain to any capacity or biology, even psychology, uh, at least the hardcore sciences. Now, when you get into talking about feelings and shit, then they may disagree, but I think they have something wrong with their brain. Um, you're born like that, right? You're just born like that. You're probably an amalgamation of your mother and your father. So if they're exceptionally gifted and brilliant and thus rich, then you're going to be. Unless you really fuck up. And don't fuck up. And it happens. People get addicted to substances, etc. But for the most part, they got the golden ticket, right? They're good looking because their father was brilliant and was able to marry a model. And thus they have very good uh, phenotypical genetics, and they come out looking like Abercrombie and Fitch, and they're rich, and they drive a very nice car and have a 6 or 7 or even 8 figure salary. That's all women want, and the sad thing is that that's not the average male. The average man is simply just trying to get by. He's working his ass off and he's feeling underappreciated and undervalued and taken advantage of. And he's having to bend over backwards and jump through hoops just to pay his bills. Women don't want to work these days. I mean, I know that for a fact. The girl I've been talking to for a year practically lives with me. and doesn't pay a dime. You know, I took her out to a very, very nice dinner last night for Valentine's Day at a very high-end place. I'd never been, but it was amazing. I was dressed to the nines, and then there was some guy that came in. He's probably like a neurosurgeon, if I had to guess, you know, all prodded out with like six, seven of his family members. They were from a different country, I'm guessing, because they were wrapped in bee suits. It kind of looked like they were wrapped in beekeeper suits. I don't know. Maybe they were, I think they're called hijabs. But I was stepping outside for a minute, and I was holding the door for the guy, and he was like, "Do you work here?" I said, "No, I don't work here." And I was dressed to the nines. I was like, "Damn it, babe! I knew I should have wore that Louis Vuitton fucking thing." Because he was like, "You work here?" "No, I don't work here." "Oh, you don't work here?" "No, I don't work here." "Why you hold the door for me?" I said, "Because you're coming in, buddy. Come on in. Come in. The food is good. Here, let me grab your chair for you." "Bitch, get the fuck inside." He said, "I thought you work here." "No, I don't work here." He's like, "I'm wearing motherfucking, my shit's all fitted. I like tailored, bespoke. And you're saying that I work here? I know work here. Why don't you work here before I take your wife?" Yeah, I was pissed. But anyways, that's the type, where I was getting at is that's the type of person, that high-end status person, people like me, people like him, that women are after. And the sad fact is that I took her out, paid for my girlfriend to do this and that, flowers, whole nines, all these gifts, today, right? Oh, I filled up her gas tank for her, etc. Today, she said, "Babe, we're out of Diet Dr. Pepper." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. When you leave, do you mind picking some up before you come back?" "Babe, that's my money. That's my money. You know I have to get my hair done. You know I have to." And I said, "Oh, time out. So my money is your money, right? That's our money. But when I ask you to do something for me, then that's your money." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. Hold up. Time out. We need to have a little talk. And that's because there's a double standard. Women don't want to work. Women don't want to provide for themselves. They want a man to do it for them. If they have any status whatsoever or any beauty whatsoever, they want a man that's going to take care of their every want, lust, need, fantasy, necessity, whatever it may be for them, whatever floats their boat, however they get by in this world. And that's a double standard, right? Yeah, but that's fair. That's fine. She's not going to see me put on an apron and cook a fucking omelet or something. She's not going to see me with a vacuum because I don't vacuum, right? I don't take the sheets off my bed and put new ones on. Like, I was like, damn. I walked in the other day. I was like, damn. I think this place is like haunted. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, I think it's haunted by like a person that used to be a housekeeper or something because I'll like come home from work and then all the dishes are done. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It was a joke, but and she knows I appreciate her a lot, but it's because we have different roles, right? We both do different things for one another. And when it comes to women wanting security and financial security and abundance and status, the majority of men just aren't going to become that. And people like Andrew Tate and all these other people that try to make money, and I respect him immensely, but whenever they try to make money off of selling courses to young men, they know good and damn well that the majority of those men are not going to become serial entrepreneurs that generate $100 million a quarter through their 17 business endeavors. It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. He may help them with their confidence, but he's not Jesus in a can, bro. He's not just going to pick them up by their bootstraps and shoot them into the stratosphere where they find economic abundance. That's not going to happen. And if everyone could have everything and everyone was all of a sudden a billionaire, then a billionaire wouldn't mean shit. So not everyone can do that. It's based off your competence. And if you really want to work hard, then combine a high competency level with a tremendous work ethic And that's how you get hyper successful people. That's simply it. It's not because they're working harder than the person that washes the dishes at Denny's, or I don't know, is cleaning toilets at a Hilton hotel. It's that they know how to use their brain power to generate profit. And that's the sad truth, but it is the truth. And so, thinking back to Valentine's Day, which was yesterday, I want to say to all the men out there that maybe don't have anyone quite yet is you just have to put yourself in more and more situations to meet people. And the sad reality to that is that people, being young men, aren't going out and meeting girls organically anymore. They're not. They aren't really going to the club, and drinking is down. And trust me, I don't drink anymore because I took it way too far. When you have an unlimited pocket and you can do anything you want, and you have for me personally, I have a really addictive personality, right? Whether that be something that's going to benefit me or something that's going to detriment me. And so I had to like put a stop to that because it wasn't serving me anymore. It was making me into a servant towards whatever its goal was, being alcohol. And I said no more. But I think that alcohol could be a good thing. It's a social lubricant, and it's a way for you to, because most guys are nervous as shit, right? They don't know how to go up to women. No one's taught them this. A lot of them don't have fathers, and if they do, then their father didn't have shit to say about this subject. And even if he did, then he probably told him wrong because it was a different game back then. They were playing on easy mode, and now they're on a much higher difficulty in this day and age when attempting to go up to a woman. And they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And they're nervous. And so that anxiety relief that they get from a couple alcoholic beverages can help them out tremendously. It'll give them the confidence they need. Now, should you need that? Should you need a drink? No, but we're not talking about what is ideal or idealistic here. We're talking about the reality of the situation we're in. Most of these guys need that, but they're not even doing that. Alcohol's down, right? Staying in, people stay in because not only is that not hip anymore or whatever, but on top of that, they can't afford it. You can't afford to go out. If you go out to the club, you're spending what, $500-600 to go out. People can't afford $500-600 to go out to the club to maybe find someone. And furthermore, you don't want to find a bitch from the club because she's broken as fuck. She's fucking broken. If you find a girl at a club, she's fucking broken. Sorry. And I know they're all like, oh, I'm just here. I never go out, but I'm just here because it's my blah blah is getting married and it's her bachelorette party. I never do this. And then like an hour later you look over there and she is basically tongue fucking 8 different guys. And you're like, bro, you Jesus, I dodged a bullet there. That's like all girls are like that. If they're in the club, then they are loosey goosey. Don't ever like you can talk to people from the club. They're cool. Don't marry someone you met at a bar. Bro, don't do that. The fuck is wrong with you? So that's on you to get out there and start doing things. Like, why aren't you doing things? Sign up for classes. Be exciting. Be eccentric. Try new things. Take a salsa dancing class, right? Maybe try going to the gym, huh? Maybe meet someone at the gym. Maybe go to read a book somewhere, like Barnes and Noble. Take new classes. Take a new learning class involving a foreign language in person, right? Maybe go back to college. I don't know. You may not want those chicks either, but just better yourself and put yourself in different situations where you're meeting other people, and something will eventually, inevitably, probably happen. That you'll meet someone, and then you have to have the confidence to grab it in, right? If you're fishing and you cast your line and you're waiting there and then you have a bite, but you don't pull that fucking fish in, then you're going to lose the fish. And then you're not going to eat. And then you're going to be sad and depressed because you had a fish on the line and you didn't reel it in when you had the chance. And so, with all that being said, guys, happy Valentine's Day. And whether you're listening to this now or in the future, don't give up. Become the best version of yourself and put yourself out there and get to know people in person, right? Because the sad truth of the matter is that it's getting harder. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and cry about it? Or are you going to take action? Just because this video game called life has went up in difficulty doesn't mean that you can just simply throw the controller against the wall and hit your gaming console with a fucking baseball bat, right? This is our game and we're living in it right now. So attempt to play and have fun. Get out there and experience new things, and I promise you sincerely that you won't regret it. So, thank you guys very much for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, please, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm making one of these every single day. And to be honest, guys, I work like 60 hours a week, and that's just for work, let alone all this other shit I do. So, I really love this. I never expect to make a dime from this, ever. But I want to impact people, right? And I want to be the genuine person on YouTube that speaks his mind and says whatever the fuck he wants to say with no consequence because no one's paying me. I make money elsewhere. So if I could get a like and a subscription from you, if you subscribe to this channel, I would be so, so thankful. Once again, this has been Kyler, episode number 16, and stay tuned because tomorrow we'll have number 17. Thank you very much. I'll see you then. Bye bye.